Hey, good evening. It is Saturday, almost 5:30, and it is the last Saturday of August. We are 8 months through 2021, and that feels kind of insane to me. But I did want to just call attention to a couple of things that have gone up on Fanboy Planet in the past week, and to see if anybody actually, maybe was aware. And that is that I revived the character of Mr. Macabre to interview Dave Rita for his short film As Good as Dead. So I want to call attention to that because there's still a chance to see that at the beginning of its life cycle on the film festival circuit. And as well, another film that I caught at a film festival, Outfest in Los Angeles, was Charles Bush's. Did I say that right? Charles Bush's. There we go. I swear, I've just had water to drink today. Anyway, the sixth reel, which absolutely ties into Fanboy Planet territory. Aside from, I love Charles Bush. He's written, I guess, a couple of things that could be considered sci-fi parody, if appropriate. As a playwright, perhaps most famous for Vampire Lesbians of Sodom, and there was a film in the early 21st century, Psycho Beach Party. That might have been late 20th century, and Die Mommy Die. So he's made fun of horror films. He's made fun of a lot of things. But in this one, he plays a character very close to himself, actually, or at least to his persona. And it is about film history, specifically London After Midnight, the Lost Lon Chaney film, in which Lon Chaney plays a detective who goes undercover as a vampire to solve a murder. I'm sure it made a lot more sense in 1927. Anyway, it's about finding a copy of this lost film and all the kind of caper that goes around trying to figure out where it should go. So it was very fun. I also hope that early next week I will review. I just read the latest, I guess, revival of The Shadow by James Patterson, which I had a friend comment, they just thought it was a James Patterson novel called The Shadow. It actually is a revival of The Shadow at Lamont Cranston. And so kind of interesting, because, of course, if you follow Fanboy Planet, you're aware that Rick Bretschneider and I have both become friends with Christopher Paul Carey and Win Scott Eckert from the Edgar Rice Burroughs. I mean, Chris is with Edgar Rice Burroughs. Win writes for them, but does a lot of other stuff as well. A company that's trying to revive and update their characters for a 21st century audience. And so it's interesting to see what Street and Smith, or Condé Nast, I think, is who actually owns The Shadow and Doc Savage and a few other characters. It's interesting to see what they're doing to update compared to what the Edgar Rice Burroughs company was doing and is doing, because there's a John Carter of Mars novel coming very soon. I've at least pre-ordered it. I'm very excited for that. But I will be writing about the Shadow revival. It's an interesting approach. And in this case, the Shadow's never been one of those characters that I've held terribly close to my heart. I read one novel, I think, as a kid, but mostly I was about Doc Savage, and I had a collection of audio tapes of Orson Welles performing the character, and listened to those, and and of course read comics all along. So it'll be interesting. It was interesting, actually, to read, and I'm just kind of working out my thoughts on it. But it was ultimately kind of fun. It was like reading a bag of potato chips. I couldn't stop at one chapter, and I just kept stuffing it into my mouth. But it was fun. So I'll write that up later. And next weekend, Shang-Chi opens, so I want to encourage, I hope, people to go see that, because if you're interested, I'm going to venture out into a theater, and I agree with Simu Liu that, I don't want to see this as an experiment. I want to see, superhero movies back in theaters, and in particular, as I've been kind of binging, thanks to Marvel Comics Unlimited, Master of Kung Fu, going back and reading the origins of the Shang-Chi character. The 70s stuff reads okay, but I totally get like what Gene Luen Yang is doing with Shang-Chi right now is fantastic. So, it's a great character, and I hope it translates really well to screen. So that's what's on my mind in the Fanboy Planet world right now. So hope you're doing well. Let me know. Write to me. Comment on Fanboy Planet. Whatever. So until I see you next time, please use your powers for good.